Have you heard of parental alienation?
I haven't heard of the term until today. I was talking to your buddy and he kind of explained it a little bit. I haven't heard of the term, but I've experienced it before.
Do you mind telling me a little bit about your experience with parental alienation?
So when I was a little kid, my parents got divorced. My dad had cancer. There was a whole thing, and his side of the family kind of attacked my mom. With him having brain cancer, they kind of told him a different scenario than what was real. When I was a kid, there was custody things, and so I would visit my dad, and then he would tell me the things that he was told by his family. So they tried to be like, oh, your mom kicked me out of the house, your mom stole money from me, and all this stuff. And then I asked my mom, because Mom, why do you do this to Dad? Why do you all that stuff? And she was like, well, and I was a kid at the time, so she didn't dive too deep, and she was like, just know your mom's not gonna lie to you. I didn't kick your dad out. He left. His family took him. And so I was kind of confused for a long time. And then when I was old enough, because my mom didn't want to get me into the legal system as a little kid. And so when I was old enough, I was 18, and my mom's like, I know you've had questions, but I could show you the legal papers and all that stuff, just so you know I haven't been lying to you. And I was like, okay, cool. I understood that my mom hadn't lied to me as a little kid, but then when I was older, it just kind of sealed that. There wasn't any lies. My mom did tell me the truth, and that my dad, he was told lies by his family. So to him, he genuinely believes it. He has brain cancer. There was the way that the psychologist described it is that he's kind of like a puppet, like a parrot. He just speaks back what his family told him, and his family, the best people.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you went through that. I went through the similar type of abuse. That habit started with me when I was 9, and I have 4 brothers, but my mom just targeted me, and she told me my dad doesn't love me anymore. He's abusive, all these allegations, and then for the next 20 years I rejected him, and I figured everything out a year and a half ago. Basically the same thing as you. I asked him for his side of the story, and he was really reluctant to tell me, but other family members all told me, and I collected evidence kind of like you were mentioning. Can you think of any effect that had on you as a kid, or even just growing up as an adolescent and teenager looking back?
I feel the biggest is that you just didn't know where truth was. And luckily I was lucky enough to have a mom that she was very it was a very stable situation with my mom. Yeah. And so I was able to know that what she said was true, and then of course that was later found to be true later on. But I feel as a little kid I just didn't know where truth was. I just was well, his dad told me the truth, his mom told me the truth. I didn't know where to turn for truth, which was really disorienting as a kid, because as a kid you learn from your parents, and that's where you grow.
Well, you rely on them for survival, so you're not really safe if you can't trust your parents. It was similar for me, very confusing. You don't really know who to believe, what to believe, but I'm really glad that it didn't solidify for you and that you didn't believe everything. If you don't mind me asking, what is your experience with your parents like now, and your extended family who made your dad believe these things?
I still try to keep relationships. I live with my mom still. It's free to live at home currently. So
don't blame you.
Yeah. I still try to have a relationship with my dad. He lives up in Idaho. I haven't gone up there and visited, but he's come down. I still love him. He's still my dad. You never want to hate a parent. I feel that's something that's difficult and for people that do hate parents, I understand there's some situations where that is the case. If you can avoid a negative relationship with someone, and you can try to mend things, then go for it. It's not a reason for me to have a relationship with them. They live so far away. I never really talk to them, but in terms of my dad, I feel we have a good relationship now.
I'm really happy to hear that. Do you think it's important for people who've been through parental alienation as a child? Do you think it's important for them to have resources and support?
Yeah, absolutely. There's people, a group that can get together, or therapy or whatever it might be, that can help them understand that what they went through as a kid wasn't normal. You were lied to as a child, you don't know where to find truth. There's sources for them. I feel that'd be important.
Well, that's exactly why I started this project. So in June, I started this project. I started speaking out about it, and I think I was really surprised at first. Why are no other children speaking out about this who've gone through it? And I think it's pretty obvious to me now that nobody wants to put their parent in a negative light, even if you're not doing it on purpose, even if that's not your goal. So I started a support group, the first one in the United States, for people who've been through this as children. And I have a YouTube channel, the Anti-Alienation Project, but we have the support group. You're welcome to join it. Anyone can join it. And we also have a mentorship program coming up, so kind of how you have a sponsor in AA. You can have someone kind of walk you by the hand and take you through it, because it can be really traumatic to figure out the truth. But we're trying to raise awareness, and I think it's really important too if you have a friend or a family member who you think that they might be manipulated by a parent, to mention to them maybe you don't have both sides of the story, and just trying to speak out about it. And I think it's important to learn the term. There's been a lot of research done. There are a lot of statistics out there and resources to get help. I hope you can check it out if you want to learn more. I've interviewed some experts on there. I've interviewed a lot of children who've been through it. I'm really sorry that you had that experience.
It's life. It's how it goes. It happened when I was young, so it's...
I'm sure you'll use it to inform your relationships in the future, and you would never do anything like that to your own children too, so it can be a learning experience. Yeah, thank you.